guys, it's Zach with American Retirement Systems here. I wanted to just do a part two to my video there that I did earlier in the week on just an introduction to suitability. I thought I would get a little bit more detailed and dive into a company that we work with more specifically here, and just go into their suitability form a little bit more, some missed questions that I often see, and maybe just some tips that you guys can do to help get your cases through suitability and just kind of run more smoothly when you submit them. So I guess my question to you guys would be, do you ever find yourself struggling working through a suitability form when you're filling out that application? Is it a replacement? Is it not a replacement? Is there enough liquidity here? Or did I fill everything out? Did I miss anything? Those are some top questions that I think are pretty standard across the industry. Luckily, insurance companies out there, they put guidelines out that help with these types of questions. American Equity is one of those companies that we work with that puts out guidelines on what they look for when it comes to suitability. It's pretty black and white. They evaluate each application as a whole, and then they consider several factors when determining that outcome. The suitability guidelines that are published, for your information, just helps the agent kind of understand how their suitability review process applies just to certain scenarios. I want you to take a look at this sheet here that I have up on the screen. It just shows one of the most important pieces of filling out the suitability form for an American Equity annuity. The financial information and experience section is probably the most important section, as it gives kind of that 30,000-foot overview of the client's financials. You want to be sure to answer these questions based on the household information. So generally that's going to be the husband and spouse, or husband, wife. If you look at that very top line there on 1.1, you'll notice that it asks for annuities that are currently with the company. Surprisingly, this is one of the most missed questions when I review an application for an agent. You should always include the premium for the annuity that you're currently writing. So if you're writing a $50,000 annuity with them, and this is their only policy that they'll have with American Equity, you would want to put $50,000 on that line. You want to be as specific as possible when filling this section out, so we can really capture your client's overall financial situation. On this next page, you'll see another important piece of the suitability form. Now, this only pertains to replacements, and if you are replacing an annuity with another annuity, or replacing life insurance with an annuity, if you're doing something like that, you will be required to fill out this information. I can't believe how often I receive an application actually from an agent that's doing a replacement. It's marked on the application as a replacement, but none of this information is filled out. All that really does at the end of the day is delay the process of getting the contract issued and ultimately getting you paid. So you must fill out all of this comparative information on this form. The insurance company wants to see why their product is going to be better than the product that they're already in. Now, there are some complicated scenarios where at times with what you're doing for your client may make sense to you, it may make sense to your client, and it may make sense to me as well. So we need to make it make sense to the insurance company as well. So what we may need to do in a situation like that is just come up with a brief individualized statement explaining the recommendation. Generally what we see when we do something like that is we'll get the case through suitability, but it just helps it helps the insurance company kind of understand and see what you and the client are seeing as the main end goal here. I work with agents every day on this stuff, and it still amazes me some of the stuff that gets missed on these suitability forms. On a $100,000 annuity, a 6% commission, that's going to pay out roughly $6,000. I ask you, the agent, can you slow down and take your time through a suitability app, knowing you're going to make $6,000 once that goes paid? I would hope so. Here recently, I worked with an agent named Ted, and Ted was from the Washington State area, but uh, he submitted a case with an insurance company that we work with, and it turns out he missed a bunch of information on the suitability form. He was doing a replacement, didn't have any of the replacement information. And so what ended up happening was Ted had to go back to the client. And when he went back to the client, something happened, something was misunderstood there. And ultimately, the sale walked away from Ted. Now, a 6-7% commission on a $300,000 annuity, well, that's pretty big. So what I told Ted was, next time he submits an application, send it to our office first. I always tell the agents that I work with, send the applications to me. I will look through them. Sometimes I have Casey here in the office look through them as well. That way we can get a couple of sets of eyes on that application before we submit it to the insurance carrier, and all this information that we would have caught, we can kind of get corrected, and that way it just kind of flows smoothly when it finally does reach the hands of the insurance company. So get it to us, we'll look over it, and we get it to the insurance company as soon as possible. I hope you found this type of information helpful. Again, suitability is different for every carrier out there, but if we can kind of shed some light on the process, on carrier-specific issues, then I think that can kind of help you guys out in the long run. So again, hopefully this has been informational for you. If you have any questions on any suitability forms out there, give us a call. We can help you through it as well. But these guides that are available for you guys out there on the agent website is also a very valuable tool to access. So 888-969-7384. Thanks for listening.